When dawn broke, April 15th, news spread like thunder. President Lincoln dead bells tolled through Washington. Soldiers wept openly. Crowds gathered in silence. Black bunting draped buildings within hours. Portraits hung wreathed in mourning. Shops closed, taverns hushed flags, lowered half-mast. Streets filled with weeping men, women, children, strangers clasping hands, grief binding more than victory had night before. Cabinet gathered, faces pale. Stanton commanding order amid sorrow. He arranged funeral rites. Body to lie in White House. East Room dressed in black crepe. Musicians played dirges. Soldiers stood guard. Candles flickered around coffin. Citizens filed past by thousands, silent shuffling feet. Some knelt, whispered prayers. Others pressed handkerchiefs to faces. Freedmen lingered longest, gazes filled with tears, gratitude whispering, Father Abraham gone. God bless his soul. City turned into shrine, churches packed with mourners, sermons thundered of martyrdom. Pastors declared Lincoln Christ-like, sacrificed for salvation. Of Union crowds sang hymns through tears, choirs intoned, Nearer my God to thee, voices quavering. Soldiers stood rigid, bayonets gleaming in candlelight. Government suspended, yet army maintained vigil. Cannon boomed salutes hourly, solemn tolls rolling across Potomac. Preparations began for funeral procession through streets. To Capitol thousands labored, draping black across avenues, erecting arches, wreaths of flowers, horse-drawn hearse, designed tall columns, white plumes. Soldiers rehearsed march. Bands practiced dirges. Volunteers placed lamps along route. Citizens brought lilies, roses to line casket's path. All Washington resolved honor fallen chief. April 19th, funeral cortege moved from White House. Slow, solemn drums, muffled flags furled. Soldiers, cavalry, infantry, artillery in ranks. Bands played Dead March. Crowds pressed silent rooftops, windows, trees packed. Every step heavy as nation itself bore coffin, horse-drawn hearse, draped black glass sides, revealing coffin within, moved like vision. People removed hats, bowed heads. Many wept aloud. Some fainted, overcome grief. Cannon fired at intervals, echo rolling city. In Capitol Rotunda, coffin placed beneath dome. Columns draped, black thousands streamed past to pay respects. Senators, generals, laborers, freedmen, children stood in same line, waiting hours. Faces, solemn eyes, red with tears. Some touched coffin. Gently others crossed themselves, silently praying. Lamps burned through night, endless line filed past until dawn. Each wished final farewell to man who saved Union and died for cause. On April 21st, funeral train departed Washington, draped in black flags. Crepe bunting locomotive renamed the Lincoln Special Engine gleamed with wreaths, sable ribbons, headlights shrouded in mourning. Bands played dirges as cars rolled slowly from depot. Soldiers saluted crowds, lined tracks, silent hats removed. Women sobbed, children lifted to glimpse last journey of president. Coffin placed in car, with glass windows, flowers piled high. Guards stood stiff surrounding body flame of candles, casting glow visible through night. First stop, Baltimore City, once hostile to Lincoln. 4 years earlier, when mobs attacked troops. Now streets hushed, black banners hung from steeples. Warehouses, bridges, crowds filled avenues, silent heads bowed. Music played hymns, bells tolled coffin, carried to hall draped with crepe. Citizens filed past reverent contrasts. Stark men who once cursed him, now wept openly. Freedmen sang spirituals' voices, echoing through arches. No violence, only grief, transformation of city, once rebellious, now mourning. From Baltimore, train moved north through towns, villages, crowds gathered along tracks, even at midnight. People lit bonfires, torches, lamps. Farmers knelt in fields, holding lanterns, whole families standing by fences to watch train pass. Slowly it rumbled, whistle wailing like lament. Each hamlet church rang bells as it passed. All-night nation kept vigil along Iron Road. At Philadelphia, coffin placed in Independence Hall, where declarations signed thousands upon thousands, lined streets. Flags draped across brick walls. Bells tolled, crowds swelled. Soldiers struggled. Keep order, yet discipline held. Citizens waited hours, shuffling through hall. Many whispered, Lincoln joined founders, guardian of liberty, now martyred for freedom. Flowers covered coffins so thick, fragrance filled air. Newspapers declared scene sacred, equal to any moment in history. Then train moved onward to New York. April 24th. Crowds immense streets. Black with bunting flags draped every building. Navy ships anchored in harbor. Fired salutes. Bands thundered dirges. Bells rang ceaselessly. Coffin carried up Broadway in procession. Miles long, soldiers, police. Veterans, civic groups marched behind. Thousands wept openly, hats removed. Silence broken only by drums, muffled cannons booming. Ferryboats in harbor draped black whistles, shrieking mourning cry. In City Hall, coffin lay in rotunda, illuminated by gaslight. Tens of thousands streamed through night and day. Columns draped black floor covered with flowers. Citizens rich, poor, immigrant, native, all joined in grief. Even hardened policemen wept. Freedmen stood, long hours, waiting for glimpse. Many whispered, "Thank you, Father Abraham." Scene seared memory of all who witnessed New York, vast, restless, stilled by grief, united in sorrow. From New York, train rolled up Hudson toward Albany, riverbanks crowded with mourners, torches lining shore. Steamboats whistled long wails draped in black. Farmers gathered on hills, waving lanterns, flames flickering through night. Albany received coffin with solemn ceremony. Capitol hung with crepe. Legislature adjourned. Citizens filed past in silence. Some kneeling, whispering prayers. Choirs sang hymns. Soldiers stood guard through night. April air cold, yet crowds endless. Westward train pressed through countryside. Every hamlet station thronged with people. Whole families stood in fields holding candles. Firemen lined tracks, torches blazing. Blacksmiths left forges glowing as tribute. Children lifted by parents to glimpse fleeting vision of car draped in black coffin, visible through glass window bathed in lamplight. Garlands of lilies, roses, chrysanthemums surrounding face of martyr. Nation watched, not as crowd, but as single mourning family. At Cleveland, April 28th, coffin placed in public square beneath grand canopy, draped with black flags. Fountains ran dry, turned into altars with flowers. Thousands passed through all day, all night. Lake Erie shore, lined with ships tolling bells. Cannons boomed, muffled soldiers, veterans, civic groups. Paraded solemn, citizens wept openly, rain mingling with tears. Newspapers declared no man ever mourned by so many at once. From Cleveland to Columbus again, crowds unbroken, farms, villages, stations all draped in black bells tolled across countryside. At Columbus State House rotunda filled with flowers. Soldiers stood stiff, guard lines of citizens stretching miles. Governor officials bowed heads. Press described endless stream pouring past coffin, as river of grief never ceasing. Day and night they came, rich, poor, black, white, all united in sorrow. Then Chicago, May. First scenes vast, tens of thousands filled streets. Coffin carried through city, under towering arches, draped with crepe flags hung from every building. Lakefront crowded, ships tolling bells, whistles screamed, black smoke rising in mourning. Church bells pealed endlessly, citizens knelt in streets. As hearse passed, soldiers marched, veterans bore torn battle flags, bands played dirges, crowd hushed save for sobs. Coffin placed in Grand Hall, draped with lilies' roses. Children brought wildflowers from prairies laid gently on lid scene. Unforgettable city, vast restless, bowed in grief. As correspondent, I stood among crowds in Midwest. Faces weathered by toil glistened with tears. Farmers, miners, immigrants wept as freely as statesmen. Soldiers leaned on crutches. Eyes red, women whispered prayers, children silent. All felt they honored not only president, but martyr who gave life for Union. Everywhere I saw conviction that death sealed, cause no rebellion could shake future of nation. From Chicago, train pressed west across prairies. Illinois towns draped in black bells told every hamlet crowds at stations day and night. People lined tracks holding candles, torches, bonfires. Farmers paused in fields, bowed heads, hats removed as car rolled by, locomotive whistle, long mournful, echoing across plains. Some wept silently, others sang hymns. Children clutched flags draped in black ribbons. All knew journey neared end. President, returning to soil he called home. May 3rd train entered Springfield city of Lincoln. Crowds immense, perhaps 75,000 streets carpeted with flowers, arches erected draped in mourning statehouse shrouded in black. Coffin carried into hall where Lincoln had spoken. As young lawyer legislator, citizens filed past endless lines. Faces grief-stricken, some remembered him. Simple neighbor strolling streets. Tall, awkward. Kindly now lay in coffin, martyr for Union. Next day, May 4th funeral procession moved through Springfield. Bands played dirges. Drums muffled soldiers, led cortege veterans following. Coffin placed upon elaborate hearse, drawn by 6 horses, plumed black streets lined thick people weeping openly. Farmers' families from miles around stood silent, heads bowed, hats off. Women knelt, children hushed, city transformed into shrine, coffin borne to Oak Ridge Cemetery north of town. There, beneath great arch, draped black ministers prayed. Choirs sang hymns rose into spring sky. Cannon fired final salute. Coffin lowered into tomb, specially built vault guarded by soldiers. Mary, too distraught, remained away, but thousands bore witness. President at last laid to rest in prairie soil of Illinois, bells tolled. Across land mourning closed journey, begun in White House weeks before. As correspondent, I watched final, lowering felt nation's breath, held then released. Grief immense yet mingled with resolve. People whispered his death not in vain. Martyrdom sealed freedom. Union preserved stronger than before. Journey of coffin 2,000 miles, witnessed by millions bound nation in mourning, deeper than any celebration, could each town touched forever by memory of train that bore fallen leader home. Thus ended voyage of sorrow, begun night of April 14th, when shot fired in theater. For 12 days, coffin moved city to city, drawing millions in shared grief. Lincoln belonged no longer to Illinois, nor to Washington, but to ages people knew his life ended, yet his words with malice toward, none charity for all remained guide for healing. Nation scarred but unbroken, found unity in mourning president slain at hour of triumph.